Hi, I'm Noah from Iota, and today we're going to learn how to crochet these slippers. So let's begin. What you have in the kit is a skein of special Iota yarn. You have another small batch of binder yarn, which we're going to use to make the pom-poms. We have all the small things that we need: a label, the rubber, the hook. So let's take out the hook and begin. So I'm going to take off the label and find my edge, and I'm going to place the yarn lower than me so that it unravels easily as we go along. So I'm going to start by working 4 single crochets into a magic ring. At this point, you can work 3 single crochet into the magic ring for the smaller size and 5 for the larger size. This affects the width of the slipper around the leg later. So I'm beginning with the magic ring. And I'm chaining 1 just to make it strong. And I'm working 4 single crochets. So this is 1, this is 2, 3, and 4. So I'm crocheting today the middle model B, and I'm beginning with 4. Now I'm going to pull on the shorter edge in order to make the magic ring smaller. So this is what it should look like. I'm going to close the round, and this is how I'm going to close all the rounds, with a slip stitch into the first single crochet of the round. So I'm putting in my hook, I'm taking the yarn, and immediately I'm passing it through the loop that I have on the hook. So this was my slip stitch, and I'm closing it. I'm chaining 1 in order to begin the next round. In the next round, I'm going to work 2 single crochets into each single crochet from the previous round. So if I had 4, in the next round I want to have 8. I'm going to start working in the first single crochet, the one that I chained 1 from. So I'm working 1 into here, 1 single crochet and 2, and in the next one 2 more, 1 and 2, next one 1 and 2. So I'm working 2 single crochets into each one, and the last one 1 and 2. So I've reached the end of the second round, where I worked 2 single crochets into each one. So I should have 8 single crochets. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is what I'm going to do in every round. I'm going to skip my slip stitch, which is this one, and my chain 1, which is this one, and it's a little bit it's not straight, it's a little bit standing. So I'm going to close with a slip stitch into the first single crochet of my round. So it looks like I'm skipping a lot, but that's the way it's supposed to be. So I'm putting in my hook, I'm taking the yarn, and I'm taking it immediately through the other loop, and I'm closing. I'm going to flip it over, and this is the beginning of my slipper, which I'm going to crochet in rounds. So this is the part we are doing now. This is the tip of the toe. Now, if you're making a different size, then of course the repetitions vary depending on the number of stitches that we worked into the magic ring. I'm going to begin round 3. I'm going to chain 1 for the next round, for this round, and I'm going to work 1 single crochet in the first one and 2 single crochet in the next one, all along the round. So I'm going to go in, take the yarn, 2 loops on the hook, take the yarn again. That's my first single crochet. In the next stitch, I'm going to work 2 single crochets. So I'm going to go in once and again. In the next one, I'm going to work only 1 single crochet. So 1. And in the next one, 2. So each round is going to grow in the number of stitches that we worked into the magic ring. So each round for me now is going to grow by 4 stitches. So I'm doing 1, 2, 1, 2. So I worked 2, now I'm going to work 1 single crochet. So at the end of this round, I'm going to have 12 single crochets. So this is my last one, because I have reached my slip stitch and my chain 1. So I'm going to count that I have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm going to close with a slip stitch into the first single crochet of the round. I'm going to skip my slip stitch and my chain 1 and close like so. So I'm going to chain 1 to begin round 5. Now, round 4, sorry. I'm going to work 1 single crochet into the first one and 1 into the next one as well. And then I'm going to work 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So 1 and 2. Now I'm going to repeat this sequence until the end of the round. So 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then 2. 1 and 2. And again, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and in the third one, 2. So I'm going to repeat the sequence 4 times in total and reach 16 stitches. So again, I grew by 4 stitches. This was 2, 1. I'm doing my last sequence now. 1 and 2. And if I did correctly, then I've reached my slip stitch and chain 1, which I'm going to skip. So let's count that we have 16 single crochets in the round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I'm going to skip my slip stitch from the previous round and my chain 1, and I'm going to close with a slip stitch into the first single crochet of the round. So now we're going to start round 5, which will have no change. I'm going to chain 1 to begin the round and single crochet into the first stitch, the one that I've chained 1 from. And now I'm going to work 1 single crochet into each single crochet from the previous round. So I'm not making any change in the stitch count. It will be 16 now for a while, because I'm working on the length of the slipper now, on this part. So I grew, and now I'm staying in the same size, and I'm making the length. So every round will be the same. I'm working 1 single crochet into each single crochet. And this is my place where I can decide how long my slipper will be. And it's also up to you. We recommend to work until round 15. We are now working round 5. But you can measure your foot and see that you've reached the middle of the bridge, and then you can stop. It also depends on how you crochet, if you do it tightly or if you prefer more open work. So I've single crocheted 1 into each one in this round, and I've reached my slip stitch. I'm going to count to see that I still have 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm going to close with a slip stitch like you will do in every round from now on, and like we did until now. Chain 1 and begin round 6. So do this for until round 15, and I'll see you then. I'm finishing round 15. I'm working 1 single crochet into the last stitches, and I've reached my slip stitch and my chain 1, which I've skipped in all of the rounds, hopefully. Let's make sure that we still have 16 stitches. So I'm not counting these two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So there was no change. We just worked the length of the slipper, and I'm going to close with a slip stitch into the first single crochet of the round. I'm going to chain 1 to start the next row, and now instead of rounds we're going to work in rows and create the middle of the sole and the end of the heel, which is really this part. It's worked in rows. So let's start with row 1. I'm going to work 1 single crochet into the next 12 stitches of the previous round, 12 out of 16. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So that should leave me 4 unworked stitches, which is 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is my slip stitch and my chain 1. So I have 4 in the middle. I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to turn my work and work this way now. So rows 2 to 7, I'm going to work 1 single crochet in each of the next stitches. So I'm going into the first one. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'm going to chain 1 and flip over the work, and this is what I'm going to do until the end of row 7, where we'll meet again. So I've reached the end of row 7, where I worked 1 single crochet into each single crochet from the previous row. This is my last single crochet, and I'm chaining 1 and flipping over my work. Now I'm going to start with row 8. Now there will be a different number of stitches and decreases for each size, like there was a difference in the number of unworked stitches in the center of the slipper for each size. So please see the instructions for rows 8 and 9 for your size, because we are doing model B. So row 8 will be a row of decreasing because we are making the heel. So I'm going to work 1 single crochet into the first 3 stitches. No decrease. 1, 2, and 3. And now I'm going to decrease 3 times in a row. So decrease 2 together, it means I'm putting in my hook inside the stitch. I'm taking the yarn. I have 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to the next stitch with my hook, taking the yarn again, and I have 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over and pass through all 3 loops so that 2 stitches became 1. I'm going to do this 2 more times. Taking the yarn, going to the next stitch, taking the yarn again, yarn over and pass through all 3 loops. Going in, taking the yarn again, yarn over and all through loops. So these were my 3 decreases, and now I have 3 single crochets left to work, 1 into each one. So here I decreased 3 times, which means that I should have 9 stitches altogether in the end of the row because I had 12 before. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to chain 1 and flip the work. Now I'm going to work again 1 single crochet in the first 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm going to decrease twice. So taking the yarn, next stitch, taking the yarn, I have 3 loops, and yarn over, pass it through all 3 loops. Again, taking the yarn again, I have 3 loops, and yarn over, pass it through all 3 loops. I can see that my heel is becoming 3-dimensional. I have 2 more stitches to finish here. I'm going to work 1 single crochet into each one, no decrease. And at the end of this row, I should have 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to chain 1 to start the next round. So now we're going to work in rounds and grow around the ankle. So I'm going to begin by working into the stitches that I see from the sides of the rows that I did before in making the heel. I should have 9 here. The number of stitches around the ankle are different from each side. It depends on the number of rows that we worked here and the number of unworked stitches that we have here. So in this model we'll have 22. In the smaller model we'll have 17, and in model A we'll have 24, but check your instructions for that. So I'm going to begin here. I need to have 9 because I had 9 rows. I'm beginning with the first one. I'm going to work a single crochet into each one. They're a little bit more difficult to recognize because they're not a regular stitch, but we can do it. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now I'm going to work into the 4 single crochets that I had left in the middle. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm not going to go into this one. So this is 10, 11, 12, and 13. So these were the 4 ones in addition to the 9 that I did before. Now this is my slip stitch, which I remember, and this is my chain 1. So I'm going to skip those, and I'm going to go to begin going into the 9 rows on the other side. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. Okay, so this was the beginning of our ankle. So round 2, I'm going to close into the first single crochet of the previous round with a slip stitch, and I'm going to chain 1 and work 1 single crochet into the 22 single crochet that we have from the previous round. They're going to be easy to recognize now. So I'm working into the first one and 1 into each of the next ones. So again, I should have 22 single crochets at the end of this round. So I'm working 1 into each one. Sorry about the noise. And I'm reaching the end of the round. Here is my slip stitch and my chain 1. Now at this point I suggest trying this on because it's already a little slipper, and seeing if you want to maybe work another round around the ankle or if this is enough for you. I'm going to stop here, but you can do another round. I'm going to close the round with a slip stitch into the first single crochet of the round, and I'm going to leave 50 centimeters of yarn and cut. Now I'm going to pull the yarn out so that it does not unravel, and I'm going to sew this hole, So I'm going to pass the yarn backwards, like so, and then I'm going to sew 2 stitches together, the corresponding stitches, one that is in front of the other, like this. So I'm going under both stitches with my hook and I'm sewing them with using the yarn that I left. So this is my last stitch. And I'm finished with the hole. Now I want to bring the yarn inside the slipper, and I'm going to want to hide it between the stitches. Like this. So So I'll hide it between a few stitches, and then I will be able to cut. This is enough. I'm going to cut it. We're almost done. We're just going to flip the slipper inside out, because we have the beginning of the yarn from the magic ring. So I'm going to do the same thing exactly here. I'm going to hide the yarn between the stitches. And then I'm going to cut it as well, once I'm happy with the hiding. So let's cut this and flip it back over. Now you have another one to knit, but this one is your first slipper. Good work. Please look at our other videos to see how to make the pom-pom and how to connect the elastic band with a plastic stopper that's used to close it, and also a third one for how to sew the IOTA label. Thank you!